It's my time now. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you to Jentel. This is my first residency, and it couldn't be better than this one. To start, I grew up in Poland, behind the Iron Curtain, so in an occupied country for almost 12 years. And on the way here, I even mentioned to Natalie, saying that this is what I grew up with. It was called poverty. Today we call it spiritual retreat, organic food, and all these things. It's funny enough that now I ended up, after living in several different countries, in Wyoming, which for the first few years has been really, I had pondering question, why the heck am I here? I came back a full circle from a town of 300 people to a town of 300 people. I had such a big dreams, and now I'm here. So to give you, again, to continue with my background, I am actually a scientist, molecular biologist and genetics. I have a master's and PhD program, and I've been working in research for 15 years. I'm mentioning this because it really, really deeply shows in my art. Experimenting has been and is, it was always my thing. I was always the most curious child, the most activist one, fighting for everyone and everything, wanting what I wanted, always stomping my foot strong and speaking up loud, very blunt. My colleagues can probably say that. So, and that also transforms slowly in my art. I'm saying slowly because I really would like my art to be very expressive, very blunt, very maybe even aggressive, maybe provocative, and even vulgar. Speak some, loud voice of social injustice and something. But I feel like I'm kind of still downsizing and belly-turning myself in my art. So what I'm going to show you today is probably more of my process rather than pieces that I've created in the past, which I didn't include at all. And the pieces you will see are still in progress, even though they were finished over the weekend. And raw, I finished 12 pieces. so I'm also proud of myself. When I submitted application, and you can put the first slide. When I submitted application to Jentel, my goal was to reconnect with the state I live in. I've been living here 7.5 years, and I will be here for many personal and my husband's reasons and goals. So what can I do to reconnect to the land I live? Because until now, I deeply hated it. I deeply hated it. I was severely depressed, feeling isolated, and it wasn't fun. Art has been my refuge since I started. It's been around 4 years of my adventure with it. Even though my mom tells me that I've been always artistic, I've never heard that before from her. So that's amazing to hear now. She's in awe, which is also amazing. I don't think I've never got so much beautiful words from my mom during doing art when I was a well-accomplished scientist and scientific author. So this is just the way I wanted to reconnect to the land. And what is the place to reconnect to the land if not to do the residency in that land? When I arrived to Sheridan, when I arrived to Jentel, I was stunned. It's been already 8-9 days, and I keep waking up to the view of creek with tears in my eyes, not believing I am here. It's just magical. It's just beyond magic. I stole my heart, absolutely. So to give you a little bit view into my process, for the first few days, I really was overwhelmed what I should do. It was just burning me on inside because I was thinking, okay, I need to have solo showpieces. They have to have meaning. They have to be, specific and so on. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is not why I'm here. So I started in my journal. I have plenty of journals, altered books, because this is what I also do. I do altered books, and I'm going to pass a couple of pieces, so I can, and I will talk about them in a minute. Let me start. This gentleman is looking here. They are different way of books. and I passed over there. So one is fabric roll, another will be altered Amazon envelope book. So I start with journaling in altered journals. The piece which you saw before, it was in a journal where I primarily wrote poetry, but eventually I glued pages together, covered them with gesso. It was a very cathartic experience, actually. And when I feel stuck, I start creating in these journals. These journals, I know that they will not be public. They will not be seen by others unless I want to show them. And they give me extreme freedom. And probably my voice, can you go back? Yeah. My voice is really spoken loud in those journals more than elsewhere. Then I started wondering what would be my intention, if not solo show, if not showing something that I should create, which, oh gosh, the word should is one of the least favorite on my list. Another one is perfect. I'm like, okay, what is my intention? And I will tell you in Polish. My intention was otwieram się na siebie, which means I am opening to myself. So I created, I think I swapped these pieces. Can you put the next one? And then we'll go back to this one, okay? So I started putting blue color on the repurposed hardboard, which was already framed, and I do not like blue. I don't like blue. Ro kept coming and saying, how beautiful is this background? I'm like, ugh, I don't know. So I started putting random things on it. I do not create in colors. At least until the residency, most of my work was in monochromatic, black, white, beige, brown, again, probably inspired by Wyoming or my darker mood, trying to connect to Wyoming. And suddenly I'm creating in these bright colors, which I was like, what is this? I am mixed media artist, so I like adding all sorts of things, especially found objects. So there you can see brown paper, you can see some fabrics that I stitched. And speaking of patience, I am not patient person until Sarah told me that I must be really patient, because when she saw me stitching those little pieces, tick, 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 I was like, oh yeah, I guess I am patient, maybe not for your type of work, but for mine, yeah. And then you can put the next slide, because there is that detail. And I even found some leaves, and I just start putting the leaves. Inking, not inking. It was, at the beginning, it had only few structures, and it was too clean. It was just not something, again, I resonated with. I need to mess things up. I like imperfectionism. He was a scientist. Everything needed to be perfect. I grew up in a family when I needed to have a career, so everything needed to be perfect. My art is a refuge for me. In that place, I am imperfect, I am messy, I don't give a damn shit about any rules and norms. And still, I see my pieces being a little too clean, but I was warming up. Now let's go to this yellow one. And this is another repurposed hardboard, which I use the background, very scratched one and old, grungy, as the background. And again, I put yellow color. Gosh dang it. Who would think Izabela would put yellow color on her main piece? And then you can see also some fabric added. I like adding fabrics. I like stitching on my pieces. Since it's hardboard, it was hard to stitch on it, so I kind of stitched separately and added to it. I think it's finished. I keep adding things to my pieces constantly. Okay. These are also mixed media. And you know what? I think this one is one of those collections which I think they are just like in these norms, but not really. I mean, for me, I see a forest with, with sky, with flowers, and there is a little bark attached to it. I do love adding found objects. Just like Sami mentioned, he's collecting, air quotes, trash. I say the same. I'm also collecting not only trash, anything that goes to the trash before it goes to the trash. My husband always asks me, do you want that? Or when I go on walks, I collect, washers, rusty pieces, and Wyoming is great for that. When that is an amazing place to collect rocks. rusty pieces. And yes, my husband always warns me before I trespass, but I do trespass. I think that's Polish in me. Again, I don't care about the rules. So I trespass and pick up this rusty piece or this pine or leaf or weird object, and I find beauty in it. So I picked up some bark, not here, this one I brought from home, and I just added to it. The lighter one is actually a canvas that it looks like a burlap. I was given that canvas. I love found objects, or people give me random things and I kind of turn them into some art piece. Okay? Okay. I think I've got pretty. Here are the pieces, another pieces, little on the minimalistic side, fabric, some paintings, but again, I was testing. This piece actually didn't end up being there, but if you put the next slide, this is what ended up being actually finally. And I added actually a little piece of the carton pieces to the bottom as well. So those are also dry plants that I collected. Apparently, I was always a plant lover since I started walking. So you can see very different styles, or maybe the same style. I don't know. I still don't know. I don't like niching myself down, and I think my brain works like that it's in the compartments. And I do this even in real life. I work 3 jobs, which are absolutely different, and I manage to compartmentalize them. And it seems that my art is the same. In the moment I am in this, and that moment I am here. I do work on several projects at the same time. So right now, this is how it works for me. Those are waiting to be assembled. Those are paper mache pieces I created, and now I am going to wire them to those little canvases. But I'm still debating, what do I want to do in the background? And I'm just pondering. I do marinate on my pieces sometimes few days, sometimes few months, or sometimes the piece is being made within also a couple of hours, depending on the dry time. That is the only limitation in my case. Yeah, those are little details. I think I'm going to call them, I may say this weird, affinities. I know my accent. But I was thinking, again, using old paper, old pages from our vintage books. Yeah, this is what I love. Finishing up, I just passed to you 2 books. Again, you can see stitching, painting, splattering, or fabric roll. Again, using found object, washed wood. How you call this washed wood? I don't know what's the driftwood. Driftwood, yeah. Do I have one more slide, or that's it? Yeah, that's it. You can see. I didn't know if I will finish this. It says also in Polish, serduszko się cieszy, which is my heart is joyous or joyful. I want to show you one more. I hope I am 20 seconds less. Again, how I'm connecting to Wyoming. Amy told me that there was a porcupine shot. I know some of my colleagues are really shocked by that because, yes, it's not something you usually do elsewhere. We in Wyoming, I may start calling myself Wyomingian already. We in Wyoming, we do, shoot animals, especially if they are predators or something. So Amy told me that there is porcupine on the track. I can pick some quills. So I picked them up and I added them into the art. So I'm going to pass this. Here we go. The only thing I ask you to be careful, they are pokey and also they are sliding, so don't move them too much because I can lose them. I have 3 pieces like that, actually 3 pieces series like that with different colors. And again, I just decided to add them into very minimalistic and elegant way. As Natalie mentioned, it is like kind of an honor to the animal, which I like because again, to start from the beginning, coming back to the circle and closing it, my goal was to connect to the land. And I think I am closer to it than I was before I came. It's still in the process, but yes, for the first time in this 7 years, I told my husband that I think I like Wyoming. Thank you so much. Rose. Oh, you don't have questions?
Yes, I do.
No, there was here the person first.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, with your diverse background as well as your diverse talents, is there a message that you want people to take away when they see your work, or is there something that you want them to visualize or experience when they see your work?
I think I would like to break one most important rule, that there is no rule to creating, and there is no one niche and one style that the artist is going to ever stay in. That we are really diverse people, and many times I got rejected from some galleries, not many times, 2 times actually only. I know for some people might be a lot, for me it was only. Saying that I don't have a style or my style is diverse. And that was the moment when I said, okay, perfect. Then my style will be diverse, because so many artists are holding a lot of art which is different than what they are sending application with, because it doesn't fit the style. I always ask what if and why. Like, why diverse style in the artist work, the random pieces like scroll, like, I don't know, stitching, like this, is telling that the artist is what, right? That is always my question. Like, what does it mean? That means that this artist is too shallow, or maybe too experimenting and maybe very curious being that wants to really go and explore different things. I am emerging artist also, so I don't know, maybe that's an excuse little for me to look for a style and look for a message, but the primary message is to bring awareness to the fact that we don't need to niche down, we don't need to follow rules, we don't need to be perfect. In fact, we should kick those things to the corner and be ourselves. And this is what I'm trying to use art for. It is purely my refuge from suicidal depression, especially. And I will refuse to use rules in my art. Okay, Rob?
Well, I absolutely love the muted colors. I think they're so elegant and so beautiful, but I'm really glad you did the blue.
It's because of you.
That's gorgeous.
Thank you.
I love your book here.
I know. You already wanted to get it.
Yeah, that book
Thank you.
is just absolutely beautiful. Man, going back to the gallery situation, I could write a book on that. You know, they try to suffocate you in many cases, and you just have to let that go because they're clueless, in my opinion. But anyway, so I've been down that road when it comes to.
Yeah, I will cite Picasso, my favorite probably artist, among others, said when someone asked him, what does it mean? What does your piece mean? He asked the question back to that person saying, do you know what the bird's song mean? Yet you still admire it and like it. And that is probably something that is like, yep. Art for me is the expression of emotions and also something to evoke emotions in others. And I think that's my goal. Maybe that is the final answer to your question, sir. Thank you.